Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy full moon. If you're here with me live, we're actually going to get to potentially experience that transition to the full moon together. So I am Sherry Moyse, and I am a heart-powered intuitive business mentor, and I'm excited to be showing up here today to share with you the second of 3 lessons that I have learned from my experience the last 3 years in particular, going full-time in my business. So if you missed yesterday's lesson on self-care, you can watch that. It is in the feed, or if you are watching this on YouTube, you'll find it there as well, and I'll put a link to it. But today's lesson that I learned that I want to share with you is, I think self-care is number one. This is the thing that I see hold people back the most. When this is not there, it is the thing that keeps people stuck, that keeps people frustrated. Why is my business not moving forward? Am I really meant to do this? And it is a huge reason why I do what I do, because I want to help people to get out of that energy and be able to move forward. So a little bit of backstory on this piece. Prior to leaving corporate, I did all my homework and I wanted to be ready. So I am admittedly a recovering perfectionist, and I want to do things right, and I'm a planner. And so I took a bunch of courses and I invested in mentorship and support so that I could really get myself ready to take the world by storm and to get my business up and running and replace my income from my 6-figure job. I was ready to go, or so I thought. So I literally spent tens of thousands of dollars, working to get it right, working to be ready. And like people say about having children, you're never ready. You just got to go for it. But I was doing my best to get ready. And I figured the people that I chose to learn from and the courses I had chosen to take, I had done my research in terms of were they successful and what were they doing in the world? And it appeared to me that they were, and it was working, and they were making it. And so if it worked for them, my assumption was it would work for me. Big problem. It didn't work. At least much of it, anyway, didn't work so well. So, but what it did was really, it taught me a lot. It didn't exactly help me to generate a ton of income, but I did accumulate a mountain of knowledge. And between the year before I started, 2017, and, probably up until this past year when I stopped taking courses, I told myself, this is, I just invested in mentorship support. I probably accumulated over $80,000 in trainings and support. And I did not at the time, wasn't able to offset that. And so what was wrong? Why wasn't it working? Why wasn't, here I am showing up, putting in the work, following the steps that they're teaching that are supposed to work and generate 6 figures and 5 figures and whatever they were promising, but it's not working. Why? Honestly, the answer to that question for me came really slowly. At least it felt really slow, as things do when you're in the struggle. It was, I think, the first, realization that I had that, started to bring this lesson to me to light was when I realized that I was, in the wrong market for myself, like that who I was trying to work with wasn't a good fit, and that was really causing a lot of my struggle. It was just not aligned, even though I believed in the cause and I really cared about this. It didn't light me up. I didn't enjoy those conversations, trying to talk to people about working with me, and I was struggling mightily getting my message down and figuring out where to find these people. It was just like pushing a boulder or 10 of them uphill. And, by the way, don't ask me like, what was my message? What do I do statement? It was like a nightmare to me. If somebody asked me that, like, don't ask me that. I'm so, I just didn't know. I couldn't, nothing came easily. And so I was really, really struggling. And so and which meant everything, like the marketing wasn't working. I wasn't working. Clients weren't coming, What was wrong, is that what I realized is that I wasn't doing things by my design. And I don't mean like my designed, a marketing design I created, but by how I'm wired, by how I'm designed to best show up in the world. I was trying to do it according to somebody else's design. And which means it's like trying to fit a round peg in a square hole, right? We're trying to apply a model that isn't you. So here's what I learned, like really clearly. And I think we all know this on some level, but when we look at it from a business perspective, we think, well, that doesn't all apply. And I'm going to call BS on that. You are uniquely you. And what I know is that each of us has our own design. And when we fully understand how you're wired, what makes you tick, how the flow works best between your heart and your mind, you'll get the clarity you need to be on your path, to know what works for you, to be able to do it your way, to be able to operate in a way that's going to create success for you. So it's really, to me, it's about getting your heart and mind to operate in a flow. And that's what's going to really allow you to realize your full potential. So what did I do? I aligned my marketing to what I call my Heartmind Design. So now things flow. Now, instead of hitting my head against the wall, and beating myself up because I'm not getting results, things are flowing. My marketing works. I'm loving what I do. I love who I support. I love how I've chosen to market myself. Like all those pieces are working. Now there's still pieces that are work in progress. There's still fine tuning. There's still all of that, but it doesn't feel hard. It's effort, it's energy, but I'm energized by it because I'm working with my design. I'm aligned. So what's the Heartmind Design? We each have one, I believe. It's like our own fingerprint. While there's similarities between each of us, each of us is still unique in the way that our business needs to reflect that. So while you and I might both decide that we're going to run Facebook groups and that's a way for us to create community, the way I run my group is different than the way you're going to run your group. The way I choose to, market myself or talk about my services is going to be different than the way you do. So there's, even if we're using similar strategies, we bring our own unique fingerprint to it, and that is what creates the flow. That's what puts us in alignment. So, and there's a lot that goes into your Heartmind Design. We can look at your astrology. We can look at your Divine Soul Blueprint. We can look at your Enneagram. Those are, some of your profile factors that help us to understand how you're wired and how you tick. But the other piece of it is, how do you process? how do you transfer how does this information from this beautiful brain in your heart get to this beautiful brain in your head, and how do they communicate the most effectively? I talk about, bottom up processing, allowing to lead from that brain in your heart to then inform this brain up here so that then the actions we're taking are in flow. But each of us needs to tap in and find that flow. And what I find most often is out of sync is that we're really good at engaging with this mind. We got this. And I also think that, spiritual entrepreneurs in particular can believe that, your business has to be run from here. And that's what gets us in the most trouble because it has to be run from both. And so, cutting ourselves off from the emotional piece, the inner guidance, our inner wisdom, our intuition, and trying to override it with thinking our way through it is a recipe for disaster every time. I tried to think my way through it and ended up learning a lot. And it was a perfectly me journey to get me here, so that I can help people on their journey. But you don't have to go through years of banging your head against the wall, spending tens of thousands of dollars. You can figure out your Heartmind design and set your business up to be aligned with it. Then your marketing flows. Then the clients flow. It is just a beautiful process. And the more I've deepened into it and the more I take clients on this journey, the more I see the power of it. And so, because when they're operating together, things aren't hard. And we want things, entrepreneurship is, doesn't have to be stressful and overwhelming. It should be rewarding. It should be joyful. And you should be filled up by it. And if you're not, then what's out of whack? What's out of sync? Are you not, like yesterday I talked about self-care, setting your business up so that self-care is in there. And this is directly related to that. When you're marketing in a way that feels good, that's self-care. When you're working with clients you love, that's self-care. It's all connected. And claiming and naming that and saying, this is how I want to run my business. And I want, is the first step. And that's where I had to get to say, this doesn't have to, why is it so hard? Why am I pushing uphill here? Yes, effort, energy to build a business. No freaking doubt. I'm not going to be one of those people that tells you, like other coaches, that you can make $10,000 a month next month. Just do ABC. Bullshit. It doesn't work that way. On average, it can take that, that time. It takes time. Maybe I don't know if it's 3 years or what it is, but it takes time to build the business to where you have all these pieces flowing. But you can be earning while you're learning. You can be making money. You can have a plan that feels good. You just need to be tapped in to your Heartmind design. So, how do you do that? Where do you go from there? There's a lot of ways that you can, start to identify how you're wired. I'm going to start sharing with you over the next month in particular, as we move into February. We're going to be starting to talk about how you use the assets you have, how you generate money, things like that. So I'll be sharing some very, concrete tools with you over the next few weeks here in this group and otherwise. But in the short term, if I am going to be working with I'm going to be working with 5 5 people one-to-one over the next period of time to really dive in and get this process really mapped out in a way that then I can bring out in a bigger way. So I already have 2 people in the program. I've got 3 spots left to work with you one-to-one to help you identify your Heartmind design. And we break it down. We get you in action. This is still earning while you're learning, but you're going to find, what is the best way for you to market yourself that really feels good? What is the best, niche for you to be in that feels good? What is, what are the systems and the processes that you need? What kind of support do you need? What is not in your wheelhouse that, you need to eventually, if not now, pass off? We're going to identify all those parts and pieces and on a practical level. And we're going to do the inner and outer work, to get this flowing. Because we can identify your design, but we've got to make sure it's actualized and that you're working with it and that you're aware of what's happening in this flow between these 2 beautiful brains that we have. So if this sounds interesting to you and you're curious to learn more, you can drop a message in the comments, tell me more, and I will reach out to you directly. You can private message me, send me an email, but I'm looking to get going very quickly in the next couple of weeks at the most with people to really dive in and map out this process so that it's a little more rinse and repeat than I've been doing it in the past. So I'm working on, this is my up leveling to doing things super intentionally. So that's the growth of a business, right? I've been doing all this and now I want to put it into a better process to serve my clients and community in a way that's going to up level the results. So I'd love for, if you feel aligned and it feels like something you want to consider, that you reach out and let me know, and let's, hop on a call and chat and see if it's a good fit for you. All right, my friends, in the meantime, I just encourage you to take inventory, a little heart work, what is working, what's feeling good and what's feeling hard. And maybe just do some inner exploration as to maybe why is it feeling hard. Ask yourself that question. And what might be a better way for you? What might be a different way to look at it, to approach it, that will feel more in flow for you? Because you've got work to do in the world. There are people who need you, who need your gifts and are just waiting for you to show up. And so getting any roadblocks out of your way is what I want to help you do. And in any way that I can in my part of this world, because like I said, your people need you. All right. And then I will be back not tomorrow. Tomorrow you get to meet one of our amazing members of our community, Stacy. It is our Spotlight Member Day. And so I'll be here with Stacy at 11 a.m. Pacific, and you'll get to meet her. And then I'll be back on Saturday with lesson 3 of this series to kind of tie this all up in hopefully a nice, neat bow for you, and hopefully give you a lot to consider and think about as you're building and growing your business. And also this applies to life in general. By the way, we can apply this process to a lot of things, but I know most of you here are interested in being and showing up in service. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow when I hang out with Stacy, and or Saturday when we talk about lesson 3. And in the meantime, have a beautiful day, rest of your day. And just remember, all it takes is a little bit of heart power. I'll see you soon.